We are beginning our next unit. This is stuff I don't believe you've ever done before. I know you've worked with exponents as we can preview ahead, but we are beginning to approach some of my absolute favorite parts of algebra. We're going to start with multiplying monomials. A monomial is a number, a variable, or the product of numbers and variables. Okay, to review, remember in math, product means the answer to a multiplication problem. Numbers, I'm sure you're fully aware of numbers are decimals, fractions, positives, and negatives. Variables, we talked about, tend to be letters, and we avoid certain letters like L and O and different things like that. Constant is a monomial. That is a real number. Now that sounds ridiculous to you, but when you get to Algebra 2 and other types of math classes, you will begin to work with imaginary numbers. So far, we have worked with just real numbers, whole numbers, natural numbers, counting numbers, integers, fractions, decimals, and things like that. Examples would be 4x. I have a number times a variable. A number written next to a letter means multiplication. We could do 3xy. 3 times x times y is all multiplication. That's an example of a monomial. 3/4 w is also an example of a monomial. We have a fraction written next to a variable. That means multiplication. You could just simply have the digit -7. That's a monomial. That's just a number, a real number. We could just have a variable by itself like y. That is also a variable and a monomial. I wonder, would you consider that? Does it fit the rules? Is it a number, a variable, or the product of numbers and variables? What about x divided by 3? Would that be considered a monomial? It is. Another way we could write that is 1/3 times x. That would be the same thing. This is definitely a monomial. We would do top times top, bottom times bottom to get x over 3. Then my question would be, would 3 over x be considered a monomial? Well, how do I get rid of this in the denominator? I could try multiplying by 1 in the form of x over x. Oh, wait. Then I would get 3x over x squared. I still have a variable in the denominator. This is not a monomial. You can never have a variable in the denominator. This is a division problem that I cannot write separately. If I separated like I did here, I would have 3 times 1 over x. I cannot get rid of the x in the denominator. Here I can get rid of it. I can change it into a multiplication problem. So something you need to remember, never has variables in the denominator. Never, ever.